current events, injustice, police brutality, systematic racism, politics. What say ye? Enough said. Welcome back to Enough Said. Thank you so much for tuning in with your host, Jemo, Carolite, and Cherry Poet. So, Carolite, what say ye?
Let me start with a disclaimer. This disclaimer goes for all our podcasts. Nothing we say is a law. Nothing should be taken as gospel. We should not be considered anybody should sue us about what we say. Let me point out that we're not racist. We're just giving our opinion from our point of view. As you can all see, we're the 3 Black female and we are opinionated. We are the voice of the voiceless.
So I would like to continue with this saying about the angry Black woman. And the reason why I want to just dwell on it a little bit is it is a very arrogant statement to make, and it's also a part of dehumanizing a person. And here's the reason. If you're treating somebody badly and you haven't stopped treating them badly, for you not to expect them to be angry is basically deeming that person inhumane. The other thing is, give that person, why do people get angry? They get angry because they feel hurt or they feel that they're being treated unfairly. So if you continue to treat somebody unfairly, to correct that is you start treating them fairly. For example, you can give that person a job. You can give them the same salary that you give the white woman. You can give that person the same promotion that you would the white woman. And once that person no longer feels treated unfairly, you won't see that person being angry. Anybody being treated unfairly is going to be angry.
I agree. And let me just say this. They tell us over and over, if you beat your kid, they'll grow up to be angry. Now, there's 2 types of beatings. There's a physical beating, which the white race probably didn't realize, some people, that we're still going through those beatings. Now they do. Some of them do anyway. Some of them are still not woke. But there's also the psychological beatings, and that's when you work twice as hard as someone else to accomplish twice as less and to be paid less. And it's not just a woman, the men as well. And it's not just white, it's anybody who discriminates against Blacks. So with this constant beating down emotionally, that's why people get angry. Now, remember I told you that there's ways to channel your anger. I don't say, don't get angry. I said, everybody, it's an emotion. You can get angry. Do not put the Black person down for being angry because they're going through a lot that you have not been through. You have not been through 400 years a slave, not 12 years a slave, 400 years of slavery. So that's one of the reasons they are angry.
Black women are angry for many reasons. For one, it's the slavery and the bad treatment by the system, by their jobs, being made to feel like they have to work 100 times harder for a smaller pay, like you were saying, Jemo. But then they beat it into our men's heads that we are angry Black women. You know what I mean? And a lot of Black women are angry toward their men, or seem that way, because they are the ones paying the bills. They are the ones taking care of the kids. They are the ones holding all the responsibility of taking care of family when the men are either locked up in jail or they're not working, or or something. So if the Black woman is angry, then it's an anger you should understand. You know what I mean? And that goes to our men as well. Don't act as if you don't understand why Black women are angry. Likewise, we understand why our Black men are angry, because you're treated differently. You don't get the jobs that you're qualified for. Things are harder for you. You get looked at funny. The cops beat on you. Everybody's beating down on you. So we understand your anger. So in turn, understand ours.
Okay. I agree.
Society is hard on us, really hard on us.
Yeah, and we need to stop allowing white America to define us. We can be angry. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to speak through your anger. There's nothing wrong with it. What, again, I believe that white America is trying to instill in Black people is, if you don't do the things the way the white would do it, then it's wrong. And if you go, for example, to cultures like different places in Africa, they talk strong, they talk to their emotions. There are other countries with primarily Black people, they talk through their emotions, and they understand that, you know, they're just talking through their emotion. What white America has done to Black Americans is they have deemed it wrong. And they've deemed it something that you can get written up about, something that you can get fired about, if the Black American is speaking strongly through their anger. And so it's another way to discriminate against what is naturally an emotional response from a Black person. And it's time, again, not to drag this out, but it's time for Black people to be able to be themselves in America and not be judged that they're doing something wrong simply just by being who they are.
Yeah, because if your voice is raised an octane louder and you're not sitting back and saying, well, Mr. So-and-so, I believe that that's a good way to do it, even though I would have done it differently. If you're not doing it that way and you say, listen, I don't agree with that, then you become angry. Your voice is raised a level. Sometimes you're just talking. That's the way the Black person talks. Not all of us. It's a generalization. I know that. There's a few of us who are mostly, but this is how we express ourselves. We might express it with our heads, with our hands, with our, we even do symbols with our lips. I've seen people go, that's us. You might not do it. That's our culture. Love us for it. We have to accept you for yours, accept us for ours.
I heard a Black guy, I think during the show yesterday or on YouTube, challenging Black people to stop talking white in the workplace. He's like, you need to just stop it. We need to be able to, with all this marching, we got to claim back who we are. Speak the way we speak. You can't expect us to speak as if we're white. Again, that is like taking a cat in your house and expecting the cat to act like a dog. It's not going to work. You can expect us to speak the way you want us to speak. Allow us to speak the way we speak. And
as long as you're communicating effectively.
Yeah. Yeah. As long as we're not being rude and being disrespectful, we should be able to speak the way we speak without you labeling our speech and dehumanizing us, wanting us to talk the way how the white man wants to hear us talk. That, again, is another form of discrimination.
And let's talk, I don't know if Terry wants to add to that, but I was going to point out that going back to the psychological effects of what's been happening to us. I saw a video, my goodness, it was heart-wrenching, of a Black man and his children driving a car, and a group of white folks started throwing themselves at the car, throwing their motorcycle at the car, attacking him. A whole bunch of them saying that's their car. And he said, no, this is not your car, this is my car. And it was like I was watching a horror movie.
It was.
The kids were screaming. The father's trying to be in control. He's like, video this, Dad, take this. And they're trying and they're screaming as the bike hits into the car.
Yeah, and he called the cops and what took the cops so long? Did the cops ever arrive?
Well, it ended before the cops arrived. But to listen to those kids being so afraid and going, Dad, 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 it was heart-wrenching. And the question now is, how does that affect those kids? That is what you call trauma. That means for the rest of their lives,
they will always remember
be affected by that.
That was horrifying. I saw it too. I saw that video.
for the rest of their lives, those kids, because as they grow older, that's when it becomes more real. That is why it's called trauma. So for the rest of their lives, those kids will be afraid.
And it's not just those kids, it's just our kids watching that. I heard one person say, what do I tell my little young Black son after I see George Floyd and all these videos? He has seen them. What do I tell my 12-year-old son? You know, if we're traumatized, can you imagine the kids, the 12-year-olds or the 14-year-olds?
Exactly. And now you understand my anger towards the president retweeting a video with people going, white power, white power. Now, does anybody understand how traumatizing that is for a young Black person in the United States of America, where racism is so prevalent? For you to be able to drive down any street and say white power, that is horrific.
It's intimidating.
You know, I experienced that when I went to Coretta Scott King's funeral. That was the first time I came face to face with verbal racism. And we are walking down the streets. Of course, the cops had to escort us to the funeral, to the church, sorry, where the funeral was being held. And all I heard, which I thought I was in a movie, I heard, white power, niggers go home, niggers must die. And the anger was horrific.
Trying to promote the N-word, but yeah, they do use that a lot. I have experienced more than that. Even when I was coming home from school, some white guys tried to run me off the road and called me the N-word for no reason at all. I think they thought I may have passed them and drove a little faster than them, but I wasn't even, my mind wasn't on that. I was more into what my next lesson was going to be. I don't know what really happened. And it was late at night, and I really don't even think I provoked them, and they tried to put their SUV, run it into my little Datsun B210 car at the time. And, you know, so everybody can talk about their experience with racism, but it's traumatizing for us, it's traumatizing for the kids, and it has to stop.
It has to stop.
Cherry Point?
It's sad. You know, the whole
I know you
thing
get emotional.
It's like, you know, I don't know. It's just too much. It's too much to bear, too much to deal with. I don't understand what would make one race of people feel as though they're superior to another. I just can't put my finger on the what or the why. And
the interesting thing is, Blacks have done nothing to whites. It would be, like you said, if they had a reason to treat Black people badly, you could say, oh, well, Black people did this and Black people, we have done nothing. And with all their cruelty, we have not ever sought revenge. We have forgiven and forgiven and forget. We still are begging, just accept us. We're not trying to form a war. We're not trying to hurt you back. Just accept us. Just accept us. And no matter how we beg, like George Floyd, they still keep that knee on our neck. What is it about Black people that these people are so angry about? What is it?
Take it back to like elementary school, when you have a bully in school. No bully stops bullying you until you fight back. No bully stops bullying you until you fight back. And so that's why I'm totally Malcolm X, you know, mentality. You know, you're not going to march and get freedom. You know, you've been marching since my eyes been at my knees, you know what I mean? And still you die for no reason in America, you know, just because of the color of your skin. So I don't know what they're marching for, what they think they're going to accomplish. How long, you know, maybe, okay, some statues taken down, okay, a couple, you know, you got some politicians talking and whatever, but nothing is going to happen until you fight for your rights. You know what I mean? Like Malcolm X said, let me just say real quick, like Malcolm X said, the white man was willing to fight for his freedom when he fought England. The Black man has never been willing to fight for his freedom, which is why you see them stand around watching George Floyd die. You know, what are you doing? You can't do that. And they stand there and they talk and they talk and they talk, and nobody steps in because everybody's afraid. You know, if I step in, I'm gonna get locked up, or they're gonna shoot me, or they're going, you know, everybody's afraid. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not willing to fight for their rights to live, to be human, and fight for justice. They're just not willing.
You took them here in chains. My God, chains were on these Black people feet and neck. And you have the nerve to come tell me we promote violence? Have you seen how violent the white race has been, to the point where you were able to annihilate an entire Native American Indian race was destroyed by whites? So you have the nerve to talk about violence?
We learned it from them.
It's your hypocrisy. It's just hypocrisy. Hypocrisy.
Yeah, but you're speaking as though that was the white man. You're speaking like that was the white man in past tense. That still is the white man.
That
you know?
still is the white man.
The white man is not necessarily gonna, well, unless they're cops, you know, they're not necessarily gonna physically brutalize you, but they're gonna mentally brutalize you. You know what I mean? Like paying you a different rate for the same job, you know? Like I was telling Gemmo about the gentleman who sent me a friend request that I worked for. Now this is a gentleman, you know, pretty cool guy, and maybe he could do things for me. But I remember when I was working for him, I wanted to take some classes being offered at the library in New York, up in Queens, and it was like Fridays from like, I don't know, 4 to 7 or something like that. And so I told him on Fridays, let me work till like 2 so I could get the class. You know what he said? How much did you pay for the class? And he goes,
Frozen.
give you the money back for the class. It's too much for him to just let me leave an hour. Show you, we don't want you to educate yourself. Just come and work for me and be done with it. Don't educate yourself. I'll pay you the money back.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Let me just say,
they don't want you to be anybody. They don't want you to step up in life. You know, just work for them and clean their crap and do what they want, you know, and just humble yourself and stay, know your place type of thing.
Stay
you know
in
your
place.
Stay in your place.
That is the white man's strategy. Stay in your lane. Stay in your place. You can only go so far and no further.
And that's slavery. That's slavery again, a form of slavery. Did you guys see the video of the young boy who was playing? He couldn't be more than about 9 or 10 or 8 years old. And he was playing with his ball. And then a police car came by and he stopped playing and hid behind the car. And when the police car left, he went back playing with his ball. That's what I call psychological trauma of the kids. I had a parent told me once, years ago, and I didn't believe him. He was saying, I won't say the context of what it was, but he was saying, I was judging something he was doing, and he was saying, you know how the kids are, they're scared of the cops. And I was like, no, they're not. And then I realized that the kids are darn scared of these cops. Now, these cops must have a bad reputation for an innocent kid to be so scared of them. And that boy was scared.
Can you imagine? We're in a country that they talk about, oh, we are so great. The cops are hired to protect and serve. And yet Black kids are hiding behind cars when they see a cop. How great can a country be that does not protect its very own citizens because of the color of their skin? How can you even claim that you're a great country? And this is the deception that they have beaten down into Black Americans to make Black Americans believe that this is a great country, not for Blacks.
They're the masters, you know, they're great in the sense that they're the masters of manipulating.
Manipulation.
You know what I mean? They've been able to master manipulating of everybody, of the way you think, of what you wear, of what you should love, of what you can or cannot say. You know, if you say this, we're going to block your post. You know, if you
Exactly.
disagree with that, we're going to block your post. You know, they're dictators who have this beautiful way of making you think that you're free, you know,
Exactly.
when you're not.
You're not.
But let me just say this, going back to the president tweeting out white power, he must have looked at that video. There's no way he would not have seen. Who retweets a video you don't look at? And even the background of it, you should have known what it's all about. It makes me wonder if he believes that he is superior himself. And why would he think that when he has not demonstrated to me any superior qualities? That's just my opinion. I know there are people on here who would disagree with me. And going back to the kid that is hiding behind the car, if the young one is psychologically damaged at that young age, what say when you grow older? You're just gonna grow to not like the police. The police has to do better. They have to make people trust them. They have to do more community policing. And like someone said before, maybe have people from the community police the community. Let police officers come from the community, and they will do a better job.
It's not just that, because Black police officers come from the community and they themselves brutalize other Black people. So the bottom line is the police have to become human again. They have been given its power. Anytime you give a human being too much power, this is how they behave. Now back to the President of the United States. Oh, my dad gave me a loan of $1 million, and then I inherited $400 million from an illegal activity because his father sold alcohol when it was illegal, and that's how he made his money. Now you start off life with 400 plus 1 million, over $5 million. No wonder you feel like you're so big and so bad and nobody can touch you and you can do whatever you want to humans. And for you, a president of a country, to retweet white power and have the nerve, because all the president does, everybody know, is lie. So we know it's a lie. We don't have to debate whether he knew or not. We know that's a lie. But the question is, when you know you're in a country that you say white power, and there is the KKK, which you have not made and denounced and made them into a terrorist group. There's white supremacist group that you have not denounced and made them into a terrorist group. When you as a president do that, you are literally declaring war on Blacks. And I don't know if the Blacks in America are understanding that their president is subtly declaring a race war. His speech at the National Convention was definitely a race war. They are thugs. The thugs are out there protesting. Wouldn't it be nice if you use your Second Amendment rights to deal with these thugs? What are you telling the American people?
The real question is, are Black people going to be ready to fight for their right to be human? When are they going to be ready to fight for their right? You know, just like I was telling you guys before, there's never been a war without casualties. Black people need to, you know, they run around talking all the time, I'm ready to die, I'm ready to die.
For our race stay awake, we should be ready to die. For our children's lives, we should be ready to die. Not gonna march anymore, because guess what?
You know what I'm saying? They screaming ready to die. But when it comes to fighting for their rights, they're talking about, I don't want to die. You know what I'm saying? But you want to die out there bang, bang. But when it comes to fighting for the right for your children to live, y'all scared. I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you got to do, because that's what the white man would do. The white man ain't marching for nothing.
Exactly. But let me just say this. America has used their monetary prowess. It's because of their money why America is touting we are great. Okay? We have 48 million Blacks in America, or over 48 million, close to 50 million Blacks. There have never been a time where 50 million Blacks agree with anything. So even though we are talking about Black Lives Matter, inequality, injustice, You have half of that 48 million sitting at home. You know why they're not doing anything to fight? Because they have an okay job. They're getting an okay pay. They're living a certain life that the whites have allowed them, that they feel comfortable with. And therefore, because I have this lifestyle, there's no need for me to fight for injustice for people in the race as a whole. Because of the hypocrisy, they're just hypocrites. When they fought us, when they hang us, when they beat us, when they burn our property, oh, that's not cruelty? That is not them fighting us? And yet they will say, oh, we have a problem because you guys seem like you're promoting violence. Well, who has promoted the most violence on each other? You are the ones who promoted violence on the blacks from the day before they even landed in the USA.
There's more white on white crime, you know, and I don't even know why you're labeling crime by color, or if you even have to. But if people talk about black on black crime, there's more white on white crime. Why are white people so angered against us? And I'll let Carolite Georgie go, and then I'll go back to talk about what you said about us fighting for our rights. I think that's what we're doing now, though. But let me just go back before we talk about fighting for our rights, to say that being devil's advocate, or what I've heard, white people say that black people commit the crimes against them, destroy their properties, rob their stores, and that's what they have against black people. But then I want to point out,
you should fight for your rights just like every other country. Fight for your rights and be willing to die so that your kids can live. And that's just that's how I think, and that's how I'll always think. You're not gonna get anything, you know, in any good time with this marching foolishness. You got to fight for your rights to live, and you got to be willing to die so that your children can live.
And let me just say, you've gone, and I don't agree with that at all. When the white people fight England, all of them didn't come over. You guys are hard on your own race. All white people never come together for anything, ever, never. When they left England, a few of the whites left. The majority of the whites were left in England. They decided to fight for freedom and free from taxation and representation and all that. So don't sit there talking about everybody should come together. It is not going to happen. God made us all different. Some of us are passive, some of us are sick, some of us are weak-minded.
We are black.
As long as we have a group of us enough, and I think a lot of us are doing it now. I mean, there could be more, but we have a lot of white people helping us. We have enough. Look how many crowd of people were out there marching.
Enough to do what? Enough to do what? March?
Policies. What do you want?
How about a civil war?
Just people dying? For what?
How about a civil war?
Gold. We're getting that gold without a civil war.
No, you're not.
Let me just say.
No, you're not. What you're getting is a show. What you're getting is a show.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
Baby, you know, some candy for the baby, some sweetie to calm you down for now. You know what I'm saying? And then it starts up again. Come on.
When the whites fought with the Indians, there were more Native Americans than whites.
Carol,
the whites came together and fight the Indians for this land. All the whites. The other thing is, the white lives are not in danger. Do you honestly believe if white people's life were in danger, that every white person would be in on the fight? Are you kidding me? Now we have
not every. There's never every and all. There's never.
Well, we have black people whose lives are in danger because outside of that office, outside of the Jaguar, outside of the 12-bedroom house, they are black. And if a cop stops them and don't know who they are, that cop can kill them. What I'm saying is, outside of their legacy, outside of their home, outside of their jobs, they are black. A white cop sees them in Montana, don't give a darn.
Every black person cares. Everyone, even if they're not out there, most of them.
You cannot tell me, Jen,
talk for about 5 minutes. Let me just say this. You cannot speak for every and all black people. You cannot
Can I say this? Anybody whose life is in danger, everybody whose life is in danger reacts the exact same way. One of the reasons why we are not getting a united front on this is because there's still blacks in America who feels this is not going to reach them.
No, that's not true. I don't believe that.
They will never be.
Respond now? I don't believe that. I believe that different people respond differently. Some people are secretly doing their money on the ground. Some people are writing letters. Some people, everybody don't know how to pick up a gun. All right? And that's what you all want. Civil war, civil war. Everybody protests differently. Now, there's some who are sitting back and not doing anything, but they're the weak-minded. Ignore them. Let's move with momentum. Can I finish? Let's move with momentum. Let me finish. Let's move with the momentum that we have now. And this is exactly what the white people want you guys to do. Tear each other down.
I must move.
No, we're not tearing each other down. We're not tearing each other down. I'm just pointing something out to you. When you listen to hip hop music or rappers and stuff like that, what are they screaming? They're ready to die if you take their money. You know what I'm saying? But they're not ready to die. If they see cops killing their kids and killing their fathers, they're not ready to die. They're standing there videoing the thing. Man, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. But let the next drug dealer take their money and see how quick they're ready to die.
Not everybody's out there selling drugs. Not everybody.
I'm not saying everybody. I'm just saying. But anyway,
I am not promoting a race war. That is not what I'm promoting. What I'm saying to you, Jem, is moving the momentum we have is gonna cost many more
Carl, can you hear me?
men to die. I can't hear
you because you're dark up against the screen. Okay. Thank you.
Here's what I'm saying is, you know, I'm not here to promote a race war. I am saying is the blacks are saying move with the momentum we have. So wait, should I wait until a cop step on my son's neck to get out there?
Look how much rioting and shooting the blacks have done. Look how much.
The ones who are sitting at home because the cop has not stepped on their son's neck. They would be out there if it was their family member that has been killed by cop. They would be fighting out there if they felt it. The reason why Black Americans tend to sit on their behind, blacks in America on a whole, is because it has not yet happened to them. And that is why the black race has never.
You're talking just a fraction of black people. The majority of the black people is up in arms. A lot of us are out there on the street. A lot of people are in the street. Can I finish? There's a lot of black people
more sitting at home eating chicken. There's a lot more sitting at home.
That's it. That's it. Because Carol will not let anybody talk. You have to give us a chance. I sit back and listen.
Finish.
No, but you go on forever.
I'm sorry.
You have to give somebody a chance. You have your opinion and it's not always the right one. You are talking about, let me finish. You're talking about a fragment of black, I don't know what percentage of the 48 million.
Not participating than
I cannot finish.
There are more blacks not participating in this thing than are participating in it.
How do you know that? Have you counted that?
Because you see more whites in the group.
It's in the box. If you see more whites.
If 48 million blacks aren't out there participating,
I don't even think 48 million talk about 20 million of them are children and the other 20 are in nursing homes and the others are in prison. You can't have that. You guys want too much. I am telling you that more people could step in, but the majority are out protesting, and the ones who can't step in are calling their congressman, writing letters, going to mayor's election, which is even probably more effective than going out there.
And still working.
Yeah, but Jemo and Carol, all this great stuff that you're talking about, writing letters, going to the congressman, you know, marching and all this stuff has been going on for 400 years.
Now we have the momentum. We have the momentum.
Can you dig that?
We have
I
the
mean, do
momentum.
you get that it's 400
tell you
years and you're talking
something.
about running with the
But
momentum?
for this
Really?
president, things would change faster. But we have a president at the
No,
head
it
who's
would
not
not.
buying it.
No,
We
it
have a
would not.
president at the head who is not supporting us.
President Obama did nothing for the black race. Nothing.
That's a lie.
That's all
You need to
Obama
read,
did.
you
He
need
did
to read a
nothing
little
for
bit
the
more
black
up on
man.
Obama and what he did for black people, because you're
Okay,
lost.
can
Obama
I
did
say
nothing for
something
the
here?
black.
Time
Died
away,
under
dog.
Obama.
This
Than
ain't-
any
that's
other
attacking each
president.
other.
That's a
Can I
lie.
say
More
something?
black people dying now than any other president right now.
We're attacking each other and we don't
We
want to
have
do.
Ladies and
Wait
gentlemen,
a
this
minute,
is
come
a
on.
heated conversation, and we're probably going to have to get back to this. But hey, thank you so much for tuning in to Enough Said. Oh man, we're going to talk some more about this because it's
Yes.
heated. We're going crazy here for people. Yeah. So listen, just tune in next time to Enough Said with Jemo, Carolite, and Cherry Poet. So
Obama was the
Enough
best
talk,
president.
Enough said. Cheers.
Obama, best president.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Current events, injustice, police brutality, systematic racism, politics. What say ye? Enough said.